Tracy. Yeah, as Tracy mentioned, we're TendoNova, and I'm Ian Campbell. I'm an entrepreneur and an engineer. I've had 2 successful exits, and I hope to make TendoNova my 3rd and largest. So I'll tell you about what we do. Our mission is to improve patient outcomes for ortho diseases like tendinopathy. These are very common diseases that will affect a large swath of the population as we age and as we stay active. It's a massive market, and there's a huge gap, as Tracy mentioned. We're filling that gap with our microinvasive tech. The tech was invented at Georgia Tech in partnership with Emory, and we've been commercializing it. Just got FDA approval and sold the tech to hundreds of docs around the country. I'll tell you the whole story. So the pain that we're trying to solve is these ortho issues will affect nearly everyone as we age. I like to say it's not an if, but a when. Hopefully, as we age, we can stay active. And when you stay active, it's almost guaranteed you'll have one of these types of issues. The way that these issues are treated today is you either go in for physical therapy, which can be very long, months and months of time, and very painful. And in many cases, that is ineffective. It's not fixing the underlying issue. And then on the other end of the spectrum is surgery, going under the knife. It's painful, it's expensive, it'll knock you out, it'll make it so you can't go do what you want to do, go to work or do your favorite activities. So we've targeted our technology to fill this massive treatment gap between physical therapy and surgery. If we zoom in a little bit on one specific orthopedic disease, let's take tendinopathy. This affects tens of millions of Americans every year and hundreds of millions of people around the world. If you think about a healthy tendon that connects your muscle to your bone, the healthy tendon has tight fibers like a rope. And it's very clear to see those fibers under an ultrasound. Whereas if you've injured that tendon and you have tendinopathy, that tendon is more amorphous. It's basically scar tissue. It looks like cotton candy, and it absorbs ultrasonic energy. So it shows up as a shadow on an ultrasound. And when your tendon looks like this, no amount of physical therapy is going to correct this issue. So in the past, you had to go get surgery for this. Well, today you can get TendoNova. The way that TendoNova works is we have the world's first handheld, microinvasive, battery-powered. It's not really a surgical tool. I like to say it's surgical-like results with the ease of an injection. It's got a needle, an 18 gauge hypodermic needle that's designed not to disrupt tissue. And inside of that needle is a 22 gauge Francine needle. It's got teeth on it that's designed to go in and basically create little micro injuries in that tendon that didn't heal itself, reintroduce blood flow, and get your body to do what it does naturally, which is heal injured tissue. This whole thing takes about a minute to set up, 5 minutes to treat. It's done under local anesthetic, either using an ultrasound, or in many cases, a doctor can just feel that damaged tissue under your skin. When the doctor's done, he puts a Band-Aid on you and you're ready to get out of there. It's an outpatient treatment. The thing I like about it as an investor is it's a razor and razor blade model. So we sell our razor, which is the driver. Doc buys this once, and then they buy the razor blade, which is our disposable, every time they do a treatment with a patient. And we get massive gross margins on these disposable units. We expect that each doctor that we onboard will generate between $18,000 and $36,000 per year per doctor. And this is a platform technology, meaning that we can build future disposable units, things that cut, things that drill, things that do a combination of both things, and get into other orthopedic issues like bone spur removal. All of this just increases our TAM. We're actually working on a disposable unit for bone spur removal right now. We're about to file a patent for that. I want to play this story from Robin, who had an impinged shoulder. and she'll tell you how TendoNova changed her life. Let me know if you guys
could
can hear.
see everything that was happening, and the minute that
I assume you can.
the needle hit that spot, you could just see it go away, and all the pressure in my neck, my ear popped. It was like immediate relief. Hi, my name is Robin. I am a mother of a young son, and I work in healthcare. By November of last year, I wasn't sleeping a full night. I was taking 800 milligram ibuprofen, Aleve, Soma. Nothing really worked. It's just this bone pain. I started having numbness in my hand, my elbow, my neck. Everything was just miserable. I had massage. I went to physical therapy. They tried to do strength training and things, and it was actually making it worse. So getting that calcification out was life-changing. So my experience, it had been kind of a year of progressive pain. So by the time I had it done at the end of the year, I had probably 80% impingement in my left shoulder. So doing the TendoNova, I had it done in the office, just a regular procedure. So they kind of do it the same way you get your regular cortisone injections. So you could see everything that was happening. And the minute that the needle hit that spot, you could just see it go away. And all the pressure in my neck, my ear popped. It was like immediate relief. It was amazing. So when I went in for the TendoNova procedure, they did numb it with some, I believe, lidocaine. And so we waited 5-10 minutes, maybe 15 for that to take place. But all said and done for the TendoNova procedure part, it was maybe 15 minutes, not even. And then for the PRP, they have to draw your blood, wait, and then re-inject it. So that's a longer procedure. But it was over so quickly, and it really was painless. After, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks, I was actually able to sleep. I didn't have that pain, that constant pain, the numbness, all of that went away kind of the day I had the procedure done. I had no bruising, no bleeding. It's just like getting a shot, basically.
So I love that story from Robin. And our partner docs have now treated close to 1,000 patients, just like Robin, all demographics from young athletes to grandparents that want to play with their kids but can't because of a silly tendinopathy injury.
You could see.
The way that we're going to enter the market is first land and then expand within these primarily sports medicine docs. We do have orthopedic surgeons as well that have adopted TendoNova, but the sports med guys really love what we do because it allows them not to send a patient out to surgery. I think in Robin's case, it was a sports medicine doctor that treated her right in their visitation room. So first we land with the doctor, they buy that razor. Then we start doing direct-to-patient marketing through Facebook, Pinterest, many very low customer acquisition cost digital marketing techniques and channels. And we just drive patients right to that doctor's door, and then we start to scale up the treatments that the doc can do per month. Our goal is to get an average DU or average treatment per doc per month of over 5, and we just surpassed that in April. We've landed within probably about 60 or so clinics. Over 100 docs are using us now. These are market leaders in their field: Scripps, Mayo Clinic, Emory, Stanford, very well-known, respected medical organizations that are using TendoNova today. And our goal is to cover this entire map in 2025. The way that we're going to do that is by first expanding into the big hospital networks that we've already landed in, like the VA, Mayo, et cetera, and then build a new pipeline of 1.5 million, and then maximize the pipeline that we already have. Doctors that are, have already bought the solution that represent about 1.5 million of recurring revenue this year. And again, we're focusing on those non-op sports med docs because it's the easiest way to convince them to adopt the solution. From a competitive perspective, there are two direct competitors, 10X and 10Jet. Both of these companies were started, over 10 years ago. They've got different technical approaches to basically trying to do the same thing that TendoNova does very well, which is mechanical soft tissue debridement. 10X uses an ultrasonic technique for soft tissue debridement. And the problem with that is they've got a very thin needle that oscillates at a very high frequency. It's about 25 kilohertz, whereas our product oscillates at about 25 hertz, 25 times per second versus 25,000 times per second. And as a result, they've had numerous instances of that tiny needle breaking off into the patient's anatomy. They've had about 500 reports of adverse effects in the FDA MOD database. So they're kind of having an unforced error right now. And they've been delisted by some of the insurance providers and they're not getting reimbursed. So we're switching a bunch of the 10X docs just straight to TendoNova. It's an easy sell. 10Jet also has a less effective approach. They basically fire a stream of saline at the tendon, kind of like pressure washing the tendon, but they're not really effectively debriding the tendon and causing the micro injuries that TendoNova causes to really trigger that body's healing process. So it's not nearly as effective as TendoNova. We're going to take all 35 million of this market share and we're going to expand the market dramatically over the coming years. We've built a broad defensible IP portfolio. We've got device designs. We've got treatment method patents. We're building manufacturing patents. We're patenting software algorithms that help to tell docs about how the treatment is going and when to stop, essentially. So we're continuing to file patents and expand our patent portfolio. We put together an awesome team. I'm the CEO now. I've done 2 successful VC-backed companies, Next Input and OnScale. Next Input was a hardware company. It has a lot of similar challenges that TendoNova has. And OnScale was a B2B software company for engineers. Jonathan and Brett were the founders. They created the first prototypes, got the device through FDA clearance, and started early commercialization. And Dr. Kim Mautner at Emory was one of our orthopedic surgeons that really helped inspire this device and saw the need for this type of treatment to fill that massive treatment gap. The plan is to efficiently and very quickly grow this business to double-digit millions of ARR. And if we build a solid company, I'm sure we'll have acquirers that come after us, both private equity groups and med tech device manufacturers will come and start making us offers in 2027. But I think if we expand our product portfolio and continue to take total addressable market, there's a chance that we can also go IPO. We're raising a 5 million Series A. 3 million of that's going to go to sales and marketing, 1 million to product and engineering, $500,000 for GA, very efficient capital structure, and then $500,000 for working capital. So with that, I'll pause and I'll open it up for any questions that might come from the audience.
Okay, if you have a question, maybe raise your hand so we can just kind of be orderly about it. You want to go first? Go ahead. So question online, how easy would it be for 10X or other to design a larger needle that oscillates lower or slower, I suppose? Let me start with that one.
Did you
Sure.
hear that?
Okay. Yes, I did hear that. And yeah, it'd be really tough for them to invent around our patents. So they basically have to infringe on us to be able to get something that's as effective as what we've designed.
Okay. Can you clarify where the recurring revenue comes from, replaceable items or software, rather than buying the unit once as a single purchase?
Yeah, so it's that razor and razor blade model. So the recurring revenue comes from the disposable, which is our razor blade. A doctor has to buy one of these for every patient that he or she treats.
On that topic, does the driver need to be sanitized with each use? How do doctors feel about that being reused?
That's kind of the nice thing about this is that you can sanitize this. The disposable unit is designed to fully enclose the driver, and the disposable unit is sanitized. It comes in a sanitized package. So all you have to do is basically just wipe this off with alcohol. You don't have to sanitize it between sessions.
Louise, could you do me a favor and just identify yourself? I was just thinking when we ask a question, maybe that'll be helpful, so.
Sure, I have another question anyways.
Good.
I'm Louise Hardman. I run an angel network here in town called ASU Invest You. Second question, who is the buyer here, and is there an existing code that's reimbursable for the procedure?
Yeah, the buyer historically has been the owners of these sports med clinics. As we've sort of gone upstream and we started working more with some of the larger hospital groups, the buyers are the, director of orthopedic surgery, or, director of practice at each of these different organizations. The question about codes is, yes, there are off-the-shelf reimbursable codes that cover all of the different types of treatments that we can do across the body.
Thanks. Question? Gentleman in the red shirt. Could you identify yourself, please?
Ian, it's Randall Schulhauser Associates, formerly full-time at Medtronic, continue to work part-time for Medtronic under contract. I'm a clinical evidence guy. You said you've got 1,000 patients. Are you published in any peer review or any plans to publish?
We have plans to publish. We're actually working with University of Kansas Medical Center on probably it'll cover about 6 months worth of treatments. It'll be hundreds of cases, and it'll be with the pain, pre and post pain survey. So we're targeting to publish that in the fourth quarter.
Right.
What is the deployment strategy for the 3M marketing budget exactly? CMO or team identified?
We've got a director of national sales, and we've got a director of marketing. But yeah, the plan is to continue to invest in digital marketing, patient-based marketing. We've got a pretty large budget allocated for that because it's been quite effective so far. For reference, we can basically get a patient to create an appointment with the doctor to see a doctor about a TendoNova related issue for about $10 per patient, which is a pretty good conversion rate. So we're going to double down on that. And then we're going to hire a small sales team. It'll consist of some SDRs that are out there, calling docs, setting up appointments. We'll have some customer success folks. We have one right now who's a former PT. She's great because she can speak the doctor's language. She can make sure that doc is, understands how to screen patients for TendoNova and make sure that they're using TendoNova earlier in the process rather than doing things that are ineffective when the doctor knows that like a physical therapy regimen won't solve the issue, for example.
Yeah, hi, it's Doug Sylvester from Accelerant Ventures. Just had really one question from your testimonial. She mentioned at the very end that it was followed up with a PRP. And so I'm wondering, are all 1,000 of your patients also getting PRP at the same time? That's not reimbursable. That gets really expensive. Kind of curious whether it's required to get both, and what's the total out-of-pocket cost for a consumer?
It's not required. It's optional. Some doctors very strongly believe that it will enhance the healing process and accelerate the healing process. I think the jury's kind of out on that. One thing that she did point out was that she'd had PRP injections before she had the TendoNova treatment, and they were ineffective. So that's kind of an interesting outcome. We've seen that anecdotally from other doctors that rely on PRP. If they use PRP only without doing TendoNova, the PRP won't go and fix that diseased tendon. In terms of the out-of-pocket expenses for the patient, you're right. If they're getting a PRP injection, that's not reimbursable. They'll probably have to spend an extra $500 or so for that PRP injection. But in almost 90% of the cases that I'm aware of, anecdotally again, it's been the TendoNova piece has been reimbursable.
Thank you.
Please.
You mentioned that you weren't a founder. What was it about this company in particular that made you want to come on as CEO as your third gig?
That's a great question. Well, I kind of have a sweet spot for Georgia Tech startups. That's where I started my career as an entrepreneur. The things that I liked about this company was the simplicity of the product from an engineering perspective. I've seen a lot of different medical device opportunities that I've ultimately passed on just because I thought the technology was maybe not as viable as this technology. The other thing that I really liked about it was the fact that they had gotten through FDA clearance and basically started commercialization with raising only about $3 million of capital, which is pretty impressive for a medical device company. And of course, I really like the founders.
Okay,
All
Brian.
right, we have a question from Jim O'Donnell. Jim, you should be able to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, hi. So you mentioned your, and I'm Jim O'Donnell, Desert Angels. You mentioned your $1 million will in product and engineering will cover the version 2. What is different about the version 2 compared to the version 1?
That's another really good question. So we've got some feedback from the market. We've sold about 100 of the V1s. The feedback that we've gotten is we really like this product. It would be great if it had a couple of extra features, if it had the ability to not only oscillate or linear translate in one direction, but also rotate. That's been a recurring feedback from doctors. They would also like some sort of feedback mechanism visually. So the first device does have an app that can measure the current of the motor on the device as sort of a proxy for how much work that the device is doing and how well it's doing breaking up the tissue. What we're going to do with the V2 device is actually put a force sensor inside the device so that it'll actually measure the force every time that device is doing an extension. We're also going to develop new reusable. So specifically, this is referring to the bone spur removal disposable unit, the reusable device, the razor blade. So we're developing that now.
Any other questions? Chris,
Sorry,
please identify.
I'm Chris with Accelerant as well. So exit strategy, you mentioned the strategics. What kind of discussions have you had with them about this problem?
It's probably too early to discuss that in a public forum, but we are being tracked by a few of the potential strategic acquirers. What I can say generally is that a lot of the potential acquirers for TendoNova, they have pain management business units. They understand that this is an important space. In some cases, there's some complementary product lines that they have that we could just fit in that same bag, same call point. So from that perspective, an acquisition would make a lot of strategic sense.
Any other questions? Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you all. Very good to meet you.